Every wrestling fan has done it before. Sitting there watching a show thinking I would have booked that way better. Well, today on Triple Threat, I am putting that to the test. If I was handed the keys to WWE Creative starting the night after WrestleMania 42, this is exactly how I would rebuild the entire tag team division for the whole next year. From surprise reunions to brand new teams to the match that would headline the tag team division at WrestleMania 43. And stick around until the end because the team I have winning the titles at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi might not be who you expect. And again, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe so you catch all this content that we drop weekly. Let's get right into rebuilding the tag team division. Okay, if I was handed the keys to WWE Creative, I'm looking in front of me right now at all the tag teams we have in WWE. We have 2 championships, we have 2 shows, and we have 12 teams. That tells me that on each show, we're going to have 6 teams vying for each championship. Over a year, that can feel very repetitive. It can feel like only certain teams get featured because a few of these teams aren't even on television very often or in the tag team division very often. So what I would do right after WrestleMania 42, you need to unify those belts back up. You cannot have 2 championships. It doesn't make sense. One or the other is either getting featured and one isn't already. It just is a mess. The whole tag team division is not being taken seriously. So I'm going to go into this right now. For the next year, WrestleMania 42 to WrestleMania 43, I'm going to rebuild this division. So coming out of WrestleMania 42, the Usos are the champions. They need to be unified. They have to be the champions for both shows. And you don't have to do double work. They don't have to be on Raw and SmackDown every week. They just have to be on the show that is going to be their feud. And the other shows should be the teams on those shows feuding with each other, trying to get a tag team championship opportunity. That said, let's go over the tag teams really quick so you know who we have. We have Alpha Academy. We have the Creed brothers. We have Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde, if they're even still around. We have the War Raiders, we have the Usos, we have the New Day, we have Motor City Machine Guns, we have Street Profits, we have Fraxium, Angel and Berto, and then here's the tricky one. We have the Wyatt Six, and we have the MFTs. 2 factions that really anyone could be in the tag team. For me, I think that factions can be together but do separate things. So I would have 2 of them be designated as the tag team of the group. And one is going to be the star, so that would be Uncle Howdy and Solo Sikoa. And the other 2 guys can be single stars leading up to the match with the big star, whatever the case. But for tag teams, I would have Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy stay together. And I would put Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa together. And this is barring whatever plans they have for Tama Tonga right now with Shinsuke. This is how I would book it for the next year. So the Usos are going to come out unified champions in my world here. I think that they need to have a good feud coming out of this with a fresh team. The night after WrestleMania 42, they need to come out and say, look, we're the greatest of all time. We done beat them. You line them up. We drop them. All this stuff, doing all their talk. And they got to say, we're ready for new challengers. Who's going to step up and take us on? I think the Creed brothers should be that team. They haven't even been on TV very much, and they're such a phenomenal tag team. They're so good at what they do. It would be a good match, obviously, but I think that the Creed brothers would be a really good tag team to go after these titles. They deserve it. They could be a good threat if built properly. So, I mean, they can go after the Usos. They can have a little feud. Maybe they lose in the first time they face each other, but later down the road, they should get an opportunity. And I'll get to that. I have a really good idea for potentially SummerSlam, maybe an event around there, a Clash in Paris, something. I don't know. I don't care which show it is, but I have an idea for that show. You know, you have a lot of good matchups. The problem is you got to weed out some things. I mean, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, are they really around? Angel and Berto have finally been getting a little shine. You know, you could be doing tag team matches with like Fraxium and Street Profits when they come back. On Raw, you could be doing the New Day versus Alpha Academy or the Creed brothers. Just, you got to put teams together and build some dynamic, like power rankings, like taking over the other team to try to get to a championship opportunity. It's just random tag team matches that we get. We have enough time on the air to get to tag team matches. We can have tag team action on Raw and SmackDown every week. SmackDown is 3 hours, and Raw is 2 hours and some change. And if you really want to take this division seriously and have teams featured and like bring relevance to this title, that's what I would do. Is I would just have at least one match every week, at least one. Show some backstage segments. Right now, Motor City Machine Guns have a really interesting story. I don't know why they would tease them breaking up, because neither of them would be a solid, taken seriously, single star. So I just like that there is a story that is putting pressure on them, but like they'll come out of it as still a tag team. Those are the kind of things you have to have backstage, like have teams fighting with other teams, and you still have to have a match every week. You have to have a tag team match to try to say, I need to get my next shot at the titles, right? So you're going to have teams feud, have the Usos feud with different teams like the Creed brothers. You could run it back with the New Day again. You go over to SmackDown, the Usos versus the Street Profits would be phenomenal as a feud. That's a PLE match right there. Having the MFTs right now, like Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa going up against the Usos, that's a little bit of bloodline situation, kinda, because Solo's involved, right? But those are good feuds you can have. Now, here's a good idea I have for leading into like SummerSlam or a PLE around there. I like how Money in the Bank is for single stars. It can push someone to the stratosphere, get them in a main event. That's fine. Something for the tag team division, and I'm not saying a Money in the Bank tag team match. That would be crazy. But you have 12 teams, and you can showcase all of them by having a tournament on Raw and SmackDown, 6 teams on each show, okay? And you have 3 matches on SmackDown and 3 on Raw. And then whoever wins those 3 on SmackDown and the 3 on Raw, they have to be in some sort of elimination match. And the point of it is you need to get to 3 winners. Those 3 winning tag teams would face each other in a tag team TLC match at one of those PLEs. And above it is a contract. Not saying a briefcase again, but a contract stating they're going to get a tag team championship match at WrestleMania. So that way we have something to look forward to. You could build a good feud, have that dynamic there. So that way there's a threat of, well, we need to get to WrestleMania because these guys already have their ticket to Mania. They won the tag team TLC match for the contract. It would create a lot of good stories that way as well. So, and who I would have win that tag team TLC match, honestly, is the Creed brothers. I think that they would put on a really good match at WrestleMania. Maybe even the Street Profits win the tag team championship by then. You would have the Street Profits versus the Creed brothers in a WrestleMania match. They would cook, and it'd be for the tag team championships. You wouldn't have to worry about, are both tag teams championships going to be on the show because they're unified, right? So I think that would be amazing. I think that having different teams featured and becoming threats to be the tag team champions, it just gives us something new. We haven't had anything new in a long time. And then when we do have something new, like Finn Balor and JD McDonough win it, they go 200 days without defending it, right? Or we don't even, like the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, until I see the MFTs walking, I forget they even exist. So I know they were having a number 1 contender match for, who's going to face the MFTs, but I know they had a number 1 contender match, Damian Priest and R-Truth, but again, that's the other problem. You have 12 tag teams. Half of them aren't even on television right now, because I don't see LWO, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde. I don't see the War Raiders right now. I don't see the Street Profits. I don't see Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy in matches because they're too busy with the MFTs and this damn lantern they got. We don't have teams on TV right now. So why are we throwing together other teams for the sake of having a match. So you're going to have Damian Priest and R-Truth win a tag team championship over 12 different tag teams that you have. Why couldn't Fraxium have won the gauntlet match? Why couldn't someone else have won so that it is a real tag team? It's a tag team division, not a thrown together division. It drives me nuts. So in my world, I'm the head of creative. We're not going to have any of that. It's going to be tag teams only because that's what a tag team division is. Now, if you agree with what I've said, drop it in the comments below. I'm saying unify the tag team championship. I'm having feuds go on every show. Even if you don't focus on 4 or 5 tag teams, at least show a couple and have one match per show. You need to have one tag team match per show. There's no excuse why you can't have an 8-minute match when you fill the time with all this other crap you got going on. I do think you have that tournament. I'm spitballing and I'm freestyling, so I'm not trying to put together a bracket for you right now, but you have a tournament. You get to 3 tag teams left, and they go into a tag team TLC match where they fight for a contract hanging above the ring, and the winner of that contract either gets a future tag team championship match that they can use anytime, kind of like Money in the Bank. So I guess it'd be really like Money in the Bank. I prefer it to be you get a shot at WrestleMania for the tag team championship. Then you don't got to worry about throwing together all this crap on the road to WrestleMania. You already have one half of the match complete with that TLC match right around SummerSlam or whatever. And then WrestleMania is when you feature teams. I would have a Fraxium versus Street Profits or Creed Brothers versus the Street Profits. That would be a great match because these people can put on great matches. They're very good in the ring. So again, drop in the comments if you agree with this. I'm going to do the same thing for each title picture. Who I would have in the divisions, what I would do for them for the next year. The tag team division is just wonky because I know what I would do, but I mean, it's just a mess to sort through right now. It's easier to do it with single stars at this point because they have buried this tag team division so far down that when they do put matches on, it's like, do we care? I don't care. But I mean, we could care if we do it my way. So drop in the comments if you agree. Creed Brothers and Street Profits WrestleMania. I think that would be dope. So until next time, we'll see you on the next one.